sebesar 7,07% tersebut, kontribusi yang paling besar diantaranya adalah konsumsi dan yang kedua adalah investasi. Dan kalau kita melihat dari beberapa perkembangan hasil survei, konsumsi ini sudah start. Maka tinggal investasi yang harus kita dorong. Nah, disinilah kemudian kita membutuhkan satu kolaborasi yang baik.
BKPM say that of the total stalled investments of around 708 trillion rupiah, 600 trillion were almost completed. Taking the example of this incident, the Ministry of Investment is now escorting investors end-to-end or from upstream to downstream. IDX Channel reports. The Indonesian Shopping Center Management Association welcomes the government's move to allow shopping centers to operate at 100% capacity after the PPKM level is lowered. The association is also optimistic that until the end of 2021, the level of visits to shopping centers can be much better than last year.
The Indonesian Shopping Center Management Associations admitted that it is not impossible that the visit rate at shopping centers by the end of this year can reach 100%. The reason is since the government has made concessions for people who want to go to shopping centers, the upward trend continues to be seen, especially since the government has cut collectively for Christmas and New Year, so that people's mobility will be spent in shopping centers. Chairman of the Indonesian Shopping Center Management Associations, Alphonsus Wijaya, explained he is optimistic that the visit rate at shopping centers by the end of this year can reach 100%, and this figure, according to Alphonsus, is much better than last year's achievement, which only reached 50%.
Harapan paling besar tentunya di tahun 2022, di mana diharapkan pemerintah bisa segera merealisasikan target tingkat vaksinasinya, sehingga di awal 2002 pergerakan kondisi usaha bisa lebih cepat lagi begitu.
Alphonsus added that the manager of the shopping center will also provide attractive promos to attract visitors to come to the shopping centers. However, he cautioned against creating crowds in shopping centers. From Jakarta, Gilang Praditya for IDX Channel.
Bank Indonesia stated that the use of digital payments continues to grow. This is marked by the rapid growth in the provision of QR Code Indonesian Standard, or QRIS, as a merchant transaction tool. The central bank noted that up to November 1st, 2021, the number of QRIS merchants had exceeded 12 million. Thus, the target for merchants to use QRIS set by Bank Indonesia this year has been achieved. Governor of Bank Indonesia, Peri Warjio, said that the number of QRIS users until early November 2021 increased significantly compared to the end of 2020 of 5.8 million merchants. After achieving this year's target, the central bank plans to continue to intensify the use of QRIS in order to accelerate the national economic recovery. Bank Indonesia say that currently the adoption of QRIS is dominated by micro and small businesses, with a portion of 88% of the total 12 million merchants. Meanwhile, for medium and large business actors, the numbers have also started to experience growth. This is in line with the increase in the QRIS transaction limit from 1 million to 5 million rupiah last May. And we're moving on to global update. The Federal Reserve is going to start trimming monthly bond buys. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has issued an emergency use listing for India's Covaxin vaccine against COVID-19. And more stories on today's International Minute.
Talks aim at reviving the landmark 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and 6 other nations are to resume this month. Iran's chief negotiator Ali Bagheri Kani said that his government had agreed to meet in Vienna on November 29th. The discussions have been on hold since the election of Iran's new hardline president in June. The U.S. pulled out of the deal under President Donald Trump, but Washington has since said it could consider rejoining. The Federal Reserve is going to start dialing back some of the extraordinary support it has given to the nation's economy since the coronavirus pandemic struck last year. Fed officials voted unanimously to start tapering those bond purchases later this month. The committee decided to begin reducing the monthly pace of its net asset purchases by $10 billion for Treasury securities and $5 billion for agency mortgage-backed securities. The WHO has issued an emergency use listing for India's Covaxin vaccine against COVID-19. The jab is extremely suitable for low and middle-income countries due to easy storage requirements, the United Nations Health Agency said in a statement on Wednesday after its strategic advisory group of experts found it last month to have 78% efficacy after 2 doses spread over 4 weeks. Covaxin is the first vaccine completely developed and manufactured in India to receive WHO approval. ByteDance Ltd's billionaire founder Zhang Yiming has stepped down as chairman months after resigning as CEO of the TikTok owner that's seeking to reposition itself amid China's crackdown on its internet industry. New CEO Liang Rubo has replaced Zhang on the 5-member board. According to a person familiar with the matter, Zhang will still be involved in formulating the Chinese tech firm's long-term strategy. IDX Channel reports.
Market headlines will be right back. Stay tuned with us.
Jika Anda adalah investor saham, Anda mendapat keuntungan di antaranya capital gain, yaitu keuntungan dari selisih harga beli dan harga jual saham. Dividend, yaitu pembagian laba kepada pemegang saham. Keuntungan lainnya, investor bisa memperoleh pendapatan tambahan dengan meminjamkan sahamnya melalui layanan pinjam meminjam efek atau PME. Apa itu PME? PME merupakan pinjaman efek sementara berupa saham dari investor untuk keperluan penyelesaian transaksi bursa. Apa saja manfaat yang didapatkan? Investor memperoleh keuntungan. Investor tetap dapat menerima dana sebagai pengganti dividen jika ada pembagian dividen saat sahamnya sedang dipinjamkan. Pendapatan yang diterima investor dari layanan PME dapat digunakan untuk membayar biaya penyimpanan saham. Saat nilai saham turun, investor tetap dapat memperoleh pendapatan hingga mengurangi potensi kerugian. Dan yang terpenting, KPEI menjamin pengembalian saham yang dipinjamkan sesuai waktu yang telah ditentukan. Menarik bukan? Prosesnya sangat sederhana. Investor cukup menghubungi perusahaan sekuritas dan menandatangani formulir perjanjian PME. Selanjutnya, jika terdapat kebutuhan penyelesaian transaksi bursa oleh peminjam, saham yang akan dipinjamkan diserahkan kepada KPEI melalui perusahaan sekuritas. Setelah proses PME selesai, maka KPEI akan mengembalikan saham yang telah dipinjamkan dan memberikan pendapatan kepada investor melalui perusahaan sekuritas. Segera hubungi perusahaan sekuritas Anda, Customer Care KPEI, atau kunjungi website kami untuk mengetahui layanan PME. PME, pinjamkan sahamnya, dapatkan manfaatnya.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. The Ministry of Health has estimated that it will need 25 to 30 million additional Sinovac vaccines for inoculating children aged 6 to 11 years. And regarding this earlier, Bio Farma will strive to ensure the availability of Sinovac vaccines.
The Indonesian Ministry of Health has estimated that it will need 25 to 30 million additional Sinovac vaccines for inoculating children aged 6 to 11 years. Spokesperson for COVID-19 vaccination for the Ministry of Health, Siti Nadia Tarmizi, affirmed that the currently available vaccines are being prioritized for adults and the elderly because they are more at risk of serious illness. The spokesperson informed that COVID-19 vaccination for children aged 6 to 11 years will not commence in the near future, as the ministry is still consulting the Indonesian Pediatrician Associations and the Indonesia Technical Advisory Group on immunizations and other related parties to obtain recommendations. However, she predicted that the program will be rolled out in 2022 if all preparations are completed. Earlier, spokesperson and Secretary of Bio Farma Bambang Herianto had assured that Bio Farma will strive to ensure the availability of Sinovac vaccines, which have been approved for use for children aged 6 to 11 years. Herianto added that Bio Farma will bring in 40 million additional doses of the Sinovac vaccine in the form of finished products. IDX Channel reports.
Pertamina signed a memorandum of understanding with American multinational oil and gas corporation ExxonMobil to develop low-carbon technology as well as carbon capture, utilization and storage, or CCUS. The MOU was signed by Pertamina's President Director Nike Widiawati and ExxonMobil Indonesia's President Irtiza Sayed. According to Nike, Pertamina continues to synergize and cooperate with various oil and gas companies to accelerate the implementation of CCUS through technology transfer, joint development, and increased capacity building. Along with ExxonMobil, Pertamina will develop the application of low-carbon technology to achieve net zero emissions in promoting global climate goals. Pertamina and ExxonMobil will review the sharing of subsurface technical data needed for the assessment of subsurface formation as a place to store CO2 and its characteristics at certain locations in Indonesia. The two companies will also review the sharing of infrastructure data, including data on pipelines, facilities, and wells, to evaluate their use of existing infrastructure for transportation. In a bilateral meeting between President Joko Widodo and the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the government stated that it has succeeded in achieving 19 cooperation commitments worth $32.7 billion. President Joko Widodo invited the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, as a guest at the G20 summit in Bali in 2022. Not only inviting the G20 summit in the bilateral meeting in Abu Dhabi, Jokowi and the Crown Prince also discussed various issues, including regarding cooperation in various fields. This was conveyed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Retno Marsudi, in her statement at the Emirates Palace Hotel.
Dan membahas berbagai macam isu termasuk masalah kerjasama di bidang renewable energy, pembangunan ibu kota baru, investasi, dan juga perdagangan. Telah mengundang putra mahkota untuk hadir di dalam KTT G20 sebagai undangan presidensi G20 Indonesia pada Oktober 2022. Selama kunjungan ini, terdapat komitmen bisnis dan investasi senilai 32,7 miliar US dollar dari 19 perjanjian kerjasama yang akan dipertukarkan besok di Dubai. Secara sekilas, komitmen bisnis dan investasi tersebut antara lain kerjasama antara INA dan Abu Dhabi Growth Fund, INA dan DP World, floating solar antara Masdar Pertamina.
In addition to the G20 issue, the two leaders discussed various issues including renewable energy, building a new capital city, investment and trade. Jokowi and the Crown Prince are also committed to strengthening cooperation and partnership in the construction of the new capital city. IDX Channel reports. The government needs to encourage the momentum of utilizing Indonesia's position as the G20 presidency next year to overcome the issue of trade cooperation, which has recently pressured Indonesia's position. The Executive Director of Core Indonesia, Muhammad Faisal, explained that Indonesia's position of being reluctant to open exports of raw materials and encouraging downstreaming should be driven by the policy framework of economic sovereignty. Faisal assessed that Indonesia's move to push domestic issues into the global realm is expected to be one of the efforts to overcome global trade pressures, with various global issues to be discussed in the G20 forum. The government must be ready to encourage cooperation in utilizing a better investment climate, so that pressure from other countries such as the European Union can be pushed into investment opportunities in Indonesia. In the agenda of the G20 presidency in 2022, Indonesia will push for various global issues.
Ini yang momentum yang penting karena seringkali dalam hal pembahasan tidak hanya bisa bergantung pada satu forum saja, misalnya dengan lembaga WTO, ya, tapi juga kita memanfaatkan forum atau kelembagaan yang lain, ya, dan saya rasa G20 merupakan satu memiliki kekuatan tersendiri, ya, yang bisa dimanfaatkan untuk kemudian mendorong hilirisasi di Indonesia juga, ya, untuk kepentingan nasional, dan juga mendorong pemulihan yang lebih berkeadilan, ya, antara negara.
Stay with us because market headlines will be back after this quick break. Welcome back on Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement, earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,587.56, and then approaching the closing time on the first session. The JCI was on the level of 6,605.84, and then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,586.44. And in short, Jakarta Composite Index today went up 0.52%. And next we're going to see the sectoral movement. Leading the dynamics of today's trading, we got transportation and logistics as the leader of strengthening trend that went up 2.99%. Energy sector went up 2.16%. Property sector went up 0.09%, and health sector went down 0.19%. And we're moving on to top gainers and top losers. Here are the key highlights from today's trading session. From top gainers, Bank Sentral Asia went up 0.34% to the level of 7,375 rupiah per share. Senin Indonesia went up 4.49% to the level of 9,900 rupiah per share. PGAS went up 3.73% to the level of 1,500. And viewers, the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And to prevent the spread of COVID-19, always wear a mask and get vaccinated immediately. Masks have been shown to reduce the risk of transmission by 80%, while vaccines minimize the risk of death by 73%. So let's wear a mask and get vaccinated, because masks and vaccines keep us healthy and happy. And I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening and stay safe.
Halo pemirsa, kembali berjumpa di Hangout. Kali ini saya lagi liburan nih di Bali. Ya, sebagai salah satu destinasi wisata, Bali emang gak pernah membuat saya bosan untuk terus saya datangi. Ingin liburan saya kali ini tidak sama dengan liburan-liburan saya sebelumnya, saya pun meminta teman saya yang ada di Bali untuk merekomendasikan tempat-tempat seru. Halo pemirsa, apa kabar? Senang sekali saya Wicky Adrian kembali menjumpai Anda dalam Hangout. Wah, saya lagi ada di Bali. Saya pusing kerja melulu, makanya saya pengen liburan ya kan. Tapi saya liburannya pengen yang nggak biasa. Saya lagi ada di monumen. Wih, apa kabar lu? Ini nih yang saya tunggu-tunggu dari tadi, namanya Kevin. Apa kabar, Vin?
Apa kabar? Baik.
Lu tinggal di sini?
Oh, enggak.
Ini rumah lu?
Habis explore aja. Di Bali ini kan culture, men.
Siap, gua pikir ini rumah lo, gede banget rumah lo.
Wow, ini salah satu landmark di Bali namanya Monumen Bajra Sandi.
Siap, ini monumen perjuangan.
Monumen perjuangan.
Seperti yang lo pernah janjikan, lo akan ngajakin gue ataupun nemenin gue selama gue berlibur di Bali, tapi gue pengen ke tempat yang nggak biasa, Vin.
Oke, bisa. Gue udah ada kepikiran tempat sih satu buat lo. Dan ini experience banget, dan harusnya lo tidak menyangka bahwa lo ke Bali akan melihat ini.
Oh, mantep kalau gitu. Gue nggak sabar. Kita pakai mobil lo.
Siap. Masuk aja.
Oke,
Yuk.
let's go. Ya, akhirnya kita sampai.